The day the ships came, the sky turned silver. It was a Tuesday morning when Lieutenant Jun Park first saw them. He stood on the military base roof, eyes fixed on the three massive discs hanging over Seoul. They did not make a sound. They did not move. They simply waited. "Lieutenant, emergency meeting," shouted a voice behind him. Jun nodded, his eyes still on the ships. This was it, the moment humans had wondered about for thousands of years. We are not alone. Within hours, similar ships appeared over 23 major cities across Earth. News channels showed the same scene playing out in New York, London, Beijing, and more. The world held its breath, waiting. 3 days passed. The ships stayed silent. Then, on the fourth day, they spoke. "People of Earth, we are the Archon. We come in peace." The message played in every language, on every device, across the planet. The aliens called themselves the Archon and said they came from a star system in the Andromeda Galaxy. 1 week later, Jun found himself sitting in a large conference room at the United Nations headquarters in New York. As Korea's top language specialist with military background, he was chosen to join the first official meeting with the aliens. The doors opened, and 3 tall figures walked in. Jun's breath caught in his throat. The Archons stood over 7 feet tall. Their skin looked like flowing silver metal, catching the light as they moved. They had no hair, and their eyes were large and completely black. They wore simple white robes that seemed to float around their bodies. "We thank you for meeting with us," said the tallest one. Its voice sounded almost musical, with strange tones Jun had never heard before. "I am Ambassador Vel. These are my assistants, Moro and Leith." The Archon bowed slightly. "We have traveled far to find intelligent life. We are pleased to find it on your beautiful planet." The UN Secretary General stepped forward. "We welcome you to Earth. We have many questions." Ambassador Vel smiled. At least, Jun thought it was a smile. The face moved in a strange way that didn't quite look natural. "Of course, we come to share knowledge, to help your species grow." The meeting lasted for hours. The Archon described their advanced society, their technology, and their peaceful exploration of the galaxy. They offered to share some of their knowledge to help Earth solve its biggest problems: disease, climate change, energy shortages. World leaders were excited. This could be the greatest moment in human history. But Jun noticed things, small things. When Ambassador Vel thought no one was looking, the smile disappeared. When the Archons spoke among themselves, they used different tones, sharper, colder. And once, when a human scientist asked about Archon weapons, all 3 aliens went completely still for exactly 4 seconds before answering. As the meeting ended, Jun stood near the door, watching the aliens leave. Ambassador Vel walked past him, speaking quietly to Moro in their own language. Jun had studied dozens of language systems. His brain automatically tried to find patterns in the strange sounds. He couldn't understand most of it, but one phrase stood out clearly, because it contained a word similar to an old Korean term: quaint primitives, useful. Later that evening, in his hotel room, Jun received a call from Dr. Hannah Kim. She worked at Korea's top research facility and had been invited to examine some of the technical data the Archon had shared. "Lieutenant Park, I don't know who else to call. Something doesn't make sense." Jun sat up straight. "What did you find?" "The energy readings from their ships. They showed us their clean fusion technology, but the actual emissions don't match what they claim. There's something else, something they're not telling us." Jun thought about the cold look in Ambassador Vel's eyes, the strange pause when asked about weapons, the words he had caught. "Dr. Kim, I think we need to be careful what we share with our new friends. You noticed something too." Hannah's voice dropped to a whisper. "Yes, I think the Archon aren't telling us everything. I think." Jun looked out his window at the silver ship still hanging over the city. "I think they see us as primitive, and I'm not sure if they're really here to help." "What should we do?" asked Hannah. For now, we watch, we listen, and we tell no one about our doubts, not until we have proof. As night fell over New York, the Arkan ships began to glow softly in the darkness, beautiful and strange, like everything about Earth's new visitors. June couldn't shake the feeling that this was not the beginning of a beautiful friendship. It was the beginning of something much more dangerous. And humanity wasn't ready. 6 months had passed since the Arkan arrived. Their ships now hovered over 50 major cities. People had gotten used to seeing the silver discs in the sky. They had become part of daily life. Captain Jun Park, recently promoted, walked through Seoul's main plaza where an Arkan cultural exchange center had opened last month. The tall, silver-skinned aliens moved among humans, showing off their technology and teaching about their home world. "Wonderful progress, isn't it?" said General Ta, appearing beside June. The older man smiled widely as he watched an Arkan demonstrate a floating light display to amazed children. "Yes, sir. Wonderful," Jun said carefully. He had noticed the change in General Tai over the past few weeks. Before, the general had been cautious about the aliens. Now he spoke of them like old friends. "The defense minister wants you at the meeting tomorrow. The Arkan are offering to upgrade our military systems." General Tai patted Jun's shoulder. "Your language skills will be useful." Jun nodded, hiding his concern. More and more military leaders were becoming friendly with the Arkan. Too friendly. Across the city, Dr. Hannah Kim stared at her computer screen in her small lab. The data didn't make sense. She had been testing soil samples from around the new Arkan centers. The chemical makeup was changing slightly, becoming more like the soil samples the Arkan had shared from their home world. "Working late again, Dr. Kim." Dr. Tali, the head of research, stood at her door. Hannah quickly switched screens, just finishing up some tests. Dr. Lee walked closer. "The Arkan representatives asked about your work. They're interested in your expertise." "Did they?" Hannah kept her voice neutral. "That's nice. You should accept their dinner invitation. They've been asking to meet you." Dr. Lee's eyes looked strange, almost empty. "It would be good for your career." After he left, Hannah locked her door and called June on a secure line they had set up. "It's getting worse," she said quietly. "The soil is changing, and my boss is pressuring me to spend time with them." "Same here," June replied. "We need to meet, not over the phone." That night, they met at an old tea house in a quiet part of the city. No advanced technology allowed inside. The owner was old-fashioned and proud of it. "Look at this." Hannah showed June pictures on an old camera. "These are the small devices the Arkan have been placing near government buildings. They call them air quality monitors, but they're releasing something into the soil." June showed her his own discovery. "And these are from the gifts they gave our military leaders. Small pins they wear on their uniforms. See this tiny part here? It's not decorative. I think it's some kind of neural interface." Hannah looked up sharply. "Neural interface? You mean mind control?" "Maybe not control, but influence? Definitely possible." A couple entered the tea house. One was wearing an Arkan visitor badge. June and Hannah went quiet until they sat far away. "We need more people we can trust," Hannah whispered. "I have a friend, Mina Choi. She works in cybersecurity. She's noticed strange patterns in global networks since the Arkan arrived." "My brother Sung could help," June added. "He's an engineer, and he never trusted the Arkan from day one." They made plans to meet again in 3 days with their trusted contacts. As they left the tea house, June looked up at the Arkan ship hanging over Seoul like a silent moon. "They're everywhere now," he said quietly. "Government, military, schools, hospitals. And the people who spend the most time with them change." Hannah added, "Have you noticed? They become different, more supportive of Arkan requests. Like they're being programmed." June agreed. "And the scary part, no one seems to notice or care." They parted ways in the quiet street. Hannah started toward her apartment, but stopped when she saw an Arkan and two human assistants walking up her street. The humans moved stiffly, like robots. The Arkan pointed at various buildings, including hers. Hannah ducked into an alley and called June. "I can't go home," she said, her voice shaking. "They're at my building. Come to my brother's place. It's safe. I'll text you the address." As Hannah hurried through dark streets, taking a long route to avoid being seen, she realized how quickly things were changing. 6 months ago, the world celebrated the Arkan arrival. Now she was hiding from them, running in the night. The Arkan were no longer just visitors. They were taking over, slowly, quietly, but surely. And very few people had noticed. Sung Park's apartment was small, but filled with computers and strange devices. June's brother had always been the technical genius in the family. Now his skills were keeping them safe. "This room is clean," Sung told the small group gathered in his living room. "No signals can get in or out unless I allow them." 5 people sat in a circle. June and Hannah were there. Next to them was Mina Choi, a woman with short hair and quick eyes who worked in government cybersecurity. Beside her sat Dr. Ji Lee, a quiet neurologist who studied brain patterns. Sung completed their circle. "We call ourselves the Ghost Network," Sung said, "because we need to be like ghosts, invisible to the Arkan." Mina opened her laptop. "I've been tracking Arkan movements for weeks. They have centers in every major city now. But look at this map." The screen showed a world map with red dots marking Arkan locations. The dots were not evenly spread. There were many more in certain regions. "They're focused on power centers," Jun said. "Government, military, technology hubs. Especially here in Korea," Mina pointed out. "More Arkan per square mile than anywhere except Washington, D.C. and Beijing." "Why Korea?" Hannah asked. "Our semiconductor industry," Sung answered. "We make the world's most advanced computer chips. If you wanted to control Earth's technology, you'd start here." Dr. G spoke for the first time. His voice was soft but sure. "I've been studying the people who work closely with the Arkan. Their brain scans show unusual activity in the frontal lobe, the part that controls decision-making." He showed them pictures of brain scans. "This is normal. This is someone who wears an Arkan gift pin. See the difference? The pin's not just jewelry. It's changing their brains." The room went quiet as everyone looked at the images. "Mind control," Hannah whispered. "Not exactly," Dr. G said. "More like influence, making people more open to Arkan ideas, more trusting." June stood up and paced the small room. "So they're taking over without firing a shot, just making our leaders agree to whatever they want. And changing our environment," Hannah added. She showed them her soil samples. "The chemical changes are small but spreading. I think they're making Earth more like their home world." Sung raised his hand like he was still in school. "Question: if they're so advanced, why take months to do this? Why not just conquer us quickly?" "Resources," Mina suggested. "Their ships need to rest and refuel. Or maybe they're waiting for something. Or someone," Jun said darkly. "What if these ships are just the first wave? What if they're preparing for others to arrive?" The idea sent a chill through the room. 5 humans against an alien invasion seemed impossible odds. "We need proof," Hannah said finally. "Something clear we can show people. Something that can't be denied." Mina tapped her computer. "I might have a way. The Arkan have their own network connecting their ships and centers. Hiddily encrypted, but I found a pattern in their communications." "Can you break in?" Sung asked, leaning forward. "Not yet, but with your help, maybe." They spent the next 3 hours planning. Sung and Mina would work on hacking the Arkan network. Dr. G would study the brain effects of Arkan technology. Hannah would continue analyzing environmental changes. June would gather information from inside the military. "We meet here every 3 days," Jun said. "Use the secure phone Sung made. Trust no one outside this room." As they prepared to leave, using different exits and times to avoid being seen together. Hannah stopped June. "What if we're wrong?" she asked quietly. "What if the Archon really are helping us?" June looked at her seriously. "Then we'll be happy to be wrong. But my gut says we're right, and we can't wait for proof to start fighting back." Mina, overhearing them, added, "My father always said, hope for the best, prepare for the worst." And right now, Sung said as he handed out small communication devices, "The worst looks pretty bad." Dr. G, the quietest of the group, spoke last. "Remember, they underestimate us. They think humans are simple, easy to control. That's their mistake." As they left into the dark night, staying in shadows and avoiding the bright areas where Archon technology lit the streets, the 5 humans carried with them a dangerous secret. They were now the Resistance. Small, outnumbered, and facing technology beyond their understanding. But they were determined. And they were just the beginning. 2 weeks passed. The Ghost Network worked day and night. Mina and Sung barely slept as they tried to break into the Archon communication system. On a rainy Tuesday night, they all gathered again in Sung's apartment. The mood was tense. Outside, 3 new Archon buildings had opened in Seoul that week alone. "We're running out of time," Jones said. "The military is giving Archon advisors access to our defense systems tomorrow." Hannah nodded. "And the soil changes are speeding up. There's a new chemical in the air around Archon buildings. It's small now, but growing." Mina stood up suddenly, her eyes bright with excitement. "But we have something." "Show them." Sung. Sung turned his largest computer screen toward the group. Strange symbols flowed across it. "We did it," he said, unable to hide his smile. "We're in their system." Everyone moved closer to the screen. "Can you read it?" Dr. G asked. "What does it say?" "It's encoded, but we've been working on a translation program," Mina explained. "It's not perfect, but we can understand about 60%. Sung typed commands, and the alien symbols began changing to Korean letters. "This is from their main communication relay," he said. "Messages between ships and their home world." As the words appeared, the room grew quiet. What they read chilled them to the bone. Phase 1 complete. Human leadership compromised. Atmospheric processors functioning. Prepare for Phase 2. "What's Phase 2? Hannah whispered. Mina scrolled down. "Here, Phase 2. Begin large-scale adaptation. Prepare for arrival of settlement fleet." "Settlement fleet," Joan read aloud. "They're not just visiting. They're moving in." Sung pointed to another message. "Look at this one. Humans proving useful as labor force. Limited resistance to neural adaptation. Recommend preserving some population for work functions." Dr. G's hands shook as he read. "They're planning to keep us as workers. Like slaves." "And this," Hannah pointed to a section about atmosphere changes. "They're not helping our environment. They're changing it to match their world. Making Earth more comfortable for them, not us." June read another section aloud. "Main fleet arrival estimated in 6 lunar cycles. 6 months. We have 6 months before their main force arrives." The room fell silent as the truth sank in. Earth was being prepared for colonization. Humans were being enslaved through mind control. And a much larger alien force was on its way. "We need to warn people," Hannah said. "Who would believe us?" Sung asked. "Most world leaders are already under Archon influence. The media loves them. We'd be called crazy." "We need more than warnings," Jum said firmly. "We need a plan to fight back." Mina pointed to another section of text. "Wait, look at this. Human biological resistance unexpected. Neural adaptation requiring twice projected energy. They're having trouble controlling everyone." Dr. G nodded slowly. "That matches my research. Some people seem immune to their influence, and others break free if they're away from Archon technology for several days." "So we have a chance," Jum said. "A small one." Suddenly, Sung's security system flashed red. Someone's coming. Arcan energy signature detected on the street. They quickly shut down the computers. Sung activated a shield he had built from modified Arcan parts. Will that hide us? Hannah asked nervously. I think so. It should mask our technology signature. They waited in tense silence. Through the window, they saw an Arcan patrol glide past the building. 3 silver figures and 2 human helpers walked slowly, scanning each building. After 10 minutes, the patrol moved on. Everyone breathed again. They're looking for us, Minna said. They must have detected our hack. We need to move, Jum decided. This location isn't safe anymore. Sung quickly packed his essential equipment. I have another place, an old bunker outside the city. Cold War era. No modern tech, so they can't scan it easily. As they prepared to leave, Hannah looked at the translated Arcan messages one last time. They think they've won already, she said quietly. They think humans are weak, easy to control. That's their mistake, Jun replied. They've studied our technology, our governments, our military. But they don't understand human nature. Dr. G nodded. When humans are cornered, when they're fighting for survival, they become dangerous. Sung finished. The 5 gathered their equipment and slipped into the night, moving away from Arcan patrols, away from the watching ships. The truth was now clear. Earth was being invaded, and they were among the few who knew it. The old bunker was cold and damp. Built during the Cold War, it sat hidden in the mountains outside Seoul. Concrete walls 3 feet thick blocked most signals. Perfect for hiding from Arcan scanners. 3 weeks had passed since they discovered the truth. The ghost network had grown. 20 trusted people now worked together in their secret base. June stood at a makeshift table covered with maps and plans. The Arcan are moving faster now. They've placed their helpers in all major world governments. And the air changes are increasing, Hannah added. She pointed to her latest readings. Oxygen levels are down 2% near Arcan centers. Small enough that most people don't notice, but it's spreading. Minna looked up from her computer. But we found something important, something they didn't plan for. Everyone gathered around as Minna showed them more translated Arcan messages. Look here, she pointed. Human unpredictability factor causing delays. Cannot predict resistance patterns. And here, humans show unusual adaptation to changing conditions. They don't understand us, Dr. G said slowly. Their species evolved on a planet with very stable conditions. No major disasters, no sudden changes. They value order and sameness. While humans, Sung added, evolved through chaos and change. Ice ages, floods, volcanoes, were built to adapt quickly. June nodded thoughtfully. That's why they're taking this slow approach. They don't know how to handle chaos and resistance. Hannah had been working at her small lab in the corner. She looked up suddenly. I found something else. Something big. She held up a Petri dish. This is a common Earth bacteria, harmless to us. But when I exposed it to Arcan biological samples, she showed them another dish where the same bacteria had caused clear damage to alien cells. They're vulnerable to our germs. Sung asked. Not all germs, Hannah explained. But certain common bacteria affect them badly. I think that's another reason they're changing our atmosphere, to kill off these bacteria that harm them. For the first time in weeks, a feeling of hope spread through the room. So we have advantages, Jun said. We adapt better. Some of us resist their mind control, and they're vulnerable to our biology. Dr. J spoke up. And there's something else. We're everywhere. 8 billion humans spread across the planet. They can't control everyone at once. We need a plan, Minna said. A way to use these advantages. They worked through the night, developing a 3-part strategy. First, Joan explained to the group, we disrupt their atmospheric processors, slow down their terraforming of Earth. Second, Hannah continued, we develop a safe way to use these bacteria as a defense. Not to kill them, but to create protected zones they can't enter. And third, Minna finished, we find a way to block their neural influence. Free people from mind control so they can join the resistance. Sung had been quiet, thinking deeply. Now he spoke. There's a fourth part. We need to warn people about the coming fleet. 6 months isn't long to prepare. But how? Dr. G asked. The Archon control most communication networks now. We go old school, Sung said with a small smile. Radio, printed papers, person to person. The Archon are focused on digital technology. They overlook older methods. As they discussed details, a young woman named Yuri rushed in. She was their newest member, a former secretary at the Defense Ministry. I have news, she said breathlessly. The Archon are planning something big. A global announcement in 3 days. All world leaders will attend. What kind of announcement? Joan asked. I don't know details, but they're calling it the next phase of human evolution. And they're bringing new technology to every major city. The room went quiet as they absorbed this news. 3 days, June finally said. We have 3 days to launch our first counterattack before whatever they're planning begins. Hannah looked around at their small group. 20 people against an alien invasion seemed impossible, but they had something the Archon didn't expect: human determination. The Archon think they understand us, she said. They've studied our technology, our governments, our biology. But they missed the most important thing about humans. What's that? Asked Yuri. June answered for her. When threatened, when cornered, when fighting for our home, humans don't give up. Ever. Sung nodded. They think we're primitive because we fight each other, because we're emotional, because we're unpredictable. But those things make us dangerous, Minna added. And they're about to find out how dangerous humans can be when we're fighting for our survival. Outside, the sun was rising. A new day was beginning. And the real battle for Earth was about to start. Time was running out. 2 days before the Archon's big announcement, the Ghost Network put their plan into action. Some had created a special device. It looked simple, just a small black box with a button. But inside was complex technology that could disrupt Archon neural control. It only works for a short time, Sung explained as he handed devices to team members. Maybe 15 minutes, and you need to be close to the person wearing an Archon pin. Jun's mission was the most dangerous. He would try to free General Da Kim, the head of South Korea's military forces. The general had been one of the first to receive an Archon friendship pin. If we can free the general, we get access to military resources, Jun told the team. And he can help free other officers. Hana and Dr. G continued their work with the bacteria. They had created a spray that was harmless to humans, but would create a barrier the Archon couldn't cross. We've tested it on the biological samples, Hana said. It works. But we don't know how the Archon will react when they encounter it. Mina had the technical job. Using information from their hack, she would try to interfere with one of the atmospheric processors. Just a small disruption, she explained. Enough to test their response, but not enough for them to locate us. As dawn broke, they split into teams and left the bunker. Each carried fake IDs created by Sung and wore normal clothes to blend in with crowds. Jun headed to military headquarters in central Seoul. He wore an officer's uniform and carried papers that would get him inside. The building was heavily guarded, with both human soldiers and tall Archon security advisors. He passed through 3 checkpoints before reaching General Kim's office floor. 2 human guards stood at the door, their eyes slightly unfocused, a sign of Archon influence. Captain Park, Intelligence Division, Jun said, showing his fake ID. I have information for the general. The guards checked his papers and let him pass. Inside, General Kim sat at his desk. The small silver pin on his uniform glinted in the light. Captain, what information do you have? The general asked. His voice was flat, his eyes dull. Jun closed the door and moved closer. Sir, I need you to listen carefully. He pressed the button on Sung's device. A soft hum filled the room. The general blinked rapidly, then put his hand to his head. What's happening? General Kim looked confused, then alarmed. As if waking from a dream, his eyes cleared. Park, is that you? Why am I? How long has it been? About 4 months since you started wearing the pin, sir, Jun said quickly. We don't have much time. The device only works for 15 minutes. Rapidly, Jun explained everything. The Archon's true plans, the atmospheric changes, the coming invasion fleet. General Kim listened, horror growing on his face. I remember. Pieces, like watching myself act but unable to stop, the general said. They've been using me to access our defense systems. Sir, we need your help. There are others fighting back. But we need military resources. General Kim stood up straight, the old strength returning to his face. You'll have them. First, we need to free more officers. Across the city, Hana and Dr. Jai entered a large hospital. They carried special containers of their bacterial spray, disguised as cleaning supplies. Remember, only in air ducts near Archon areas, Dr. G reminded her. We want to test if it creates a barrier they can't cross. They found their way to the maintenance area and located the air system that served the new Archon Medical Research Wing. Quickly, they released the spray into the ducts. Meanwhile, Minna had reached her target, a small control box behind one of the new Archon buildings. Using codes from their hack, she connected her device and began the sequence to disrupt the atmospheric processor inside. Just a small glitch, she whispered to herself, enough to show us how they respond. Back at military headquarters, Jun and the now-freed General Kim had managed to remove pins from 3 more high-ranking officers. All were shocked and angry when they understood what had happened. The Archon have scheduled a meeting with the president tomorrow, General Kim told Jun. That must be part of their announcement. We need to prevent it. Sir, there's more, Jun said gravely. Minna's research shows 40% of world leaders are now under direct Archon control. This is happening everywhere. The general's face hardened. Then we fight back everywhere. But first, we need to get out of here before these officers fall back under control. As they prepared to leave, alarms suddenly blared throughout the building. Red lights flashed. Alert! Security breach detected. All personnel remain in place, announced a computerized voice. General Kim looked at Jun. They know something's wrong. The sky darkened as hundreds of new Archon ships entered Earth's atmosphere. They were larger than the first wave, with sharp edges that glinted like knives in the sunlight. The pretense of friendship was over. In Seoul, people stopped and stared upward, phones recording the massive ships that now hung low over the city. The same scene played out in cities worldwide. At the bunker, the Ghost Network watched satellite feeds with grim faces. It's happening sooner than we expected, Jun said. General Kim and the freed officers stood beside him. They must have detected our actions. The main screen suddenly flickered, and every channel worldwide began showing the same image. Ambassador Vel, the first Archon to speak to humans. People of Earth, the alien's voice was no longer friendly. Your transition period is now complete. Earth has been chosen to join the Archon Collective. This is a great honor. The camera pulled back to show world leaders standing behind the alien. Their faces were blank, their eyes empty. The president of Korea stood among them, wearing a larger version of the Archon pin. Your leaders have agreed to this union, Vel continued. The process of adapting Earth to better standards has begun. Some discomfort may occur as your atmosphere is optimized. Those who accept Archon guidance will be protected. They're not even hiding it anymore, Hana whispered. Vel's voice grew colder. Resistance has been detected in some areas. This is unfortunate and unnecessary. Resistors will be relocated for re-education. The broadcast ended, replaced by scenes of chaos. Across the world, the hidden weapons in Archon cultural centers had activated. Silver armored figures poured out, herding confused humans into groups. It's a full invasion, General Kim said grimly. We need to act now. Their plan had to change. Instead of small tests, they needed full deployment of their countermeasures. Send the signal, Jun ordered. Minna pressed a button, sending an encrypted message to their network of supporters worldwide. Message sent. Our people are activating jammers at all major Archon control points. Sung added, the neural disruptors are being deployed near government buildings in 30 countries. Dr. G and Hannah checked their tablets. The bacterial barrier is being released in target areas. It should slow down their movement. General Kim was on a secure line with military commanders who had been secretly freed from Archon control days earlier. All units go to Defense Plan Omega, he ordered. Target the atmospheric processors first. Across Seoul, hidden resistance fighters activated Sung's jamming devices. People wearing Archon pins suddenly stopped, confused as the control signals weakened. Some pulled the pins off in horror as they realized what had happened. At the same time, military units loyal to General Kim began attacking the massive atmospheric processors the Archon had built. Explosions lit up the sky as the first processor fell. But the Archon responded quickly. Their ships launched smaller craft that fired energy weapons at human targets. Buildings crumbled. People ran screaming through streets as battle broke out in every major city. In New York, resistance fighters released clouds of Hannah's bacterial spray, creating invisible barriers that the advancing Archon couldn't cross. The aliens stopped in confusion, their silver skin turning darker when exposed to the bacteria. In Beijing, government officials freed from mind control ordered their military to target Archon ships. Anti-aircraft missiles streaked into the sky. The Archon had not expected such coordinated resistance. Their plans relied on human leaders being fully under control. Now those plans fell apart as humans worldwide fought back with unexpected fury. At the bunker, reports flooded in from around the world. London reports 3 atmospheric processors destroyed. Minna called out. Sydney resistance has taken back the harbor area. Sung added. But we've lost contact with Paris and most of Central Africa, Hannah said grimly. The main screen showed new images from space. A massive fleet of Archon ships had entered the solar system, heading toward Earth. The main invasion force, General Kim said quietly. Those were just the advanced ships. June studied the images. How long until they reach Earth? At their speed, 3 days, Minna calculated. The room fell silent. They had won small victories, but a much larger threat was approaching. How could Earth, even united in resistance, stand against such a massive force? Hannah broke the silence. We need to send them a message. Show them that taking Earth won't be easy. We need to show them that humans aren't the simple creatures they think we are. Joan agreed. General Kim nodded. We hit them harder. Show them what humans do when fighting for their home. 2 days passed. The world was at war. Cities burned, but humans fought back with growing strength. What had started with 5 people in Korea had spread to millions worldwide. The Ghost Network had moved to a larger underground facility. Once a military bunker, it now served as the resistance headquarters. Maps covered the walls showing battle zones across the planet. They didn't expect this, Jun said as he studied reports from around the world. They thought we would surrender once they showed their true power. Hannah nodded. The Archon only understand control from the top down. They can't grasp how humans fight. What amazed them most was how people everywhere found their own ways to resist. The Ghost Network had provided tools and information, but humans added their own creativity to the fight. In rural India, farmers had discovered that the Archon couldn't move well in rice paddies. The bacteria in the water weakened them. Now farmers flooded more fields, creating natural barriers. In Brazil, resistance fighters used the dense jungle to set traps for Archon patrols. The aliens, used to cities and open spaces, got lost in the thick forests. Look at this, Sung said excitedly, pointing to a video from Kansas. American farmers had modified crop dusters to spray Hannah's bacterial formula over wide areas. Arkan forces couldn't advance through these zones. Minna showed them reports from tech centers worldwide. Programmers in Silicon Valley hacked Arkan ship signals. They can't land safely in North America now. Most impressive were the Korean semiconductor engineers. They had taken captured Arkan technology and quickly understood how it worked. Now they built devices that disrupted alien communications. The Arkan made a fundamental mistake, Dr. Jai explained. They judged us by our leaders and our military. They studied how nations work, but they never understood how individual humans think and adapt. General Kim entered with fresh reports. We've destroyed 60% of the atmospheric processors. Air quality is already improving. But the main fleet is still coming, Minna reminded them. One day until they reach Earth orbit. Sung stood up suddenly. I have an idea. The Arkan control their ships from central command centers. What if we could send them false commands? Is that possible? Jun asked. With what we've learned from captured technology, maybe. We need to work with tech teams around the world. While Sung and Minna coordinated with international hackers, Hannah received exciting news from her global medical network. Doctors in Kenya found something important, she announced. Children seem naturally resistant to Arkan mind control. Their brains are more flexible, still developing. The Arkan signals don't work well on them. This discovery spread hope. The next generation would be harder to control. Outside, the battle for Seoul continued. The resistance had taken back half the city. Ordinary people fought alongside soldiers. Store owners, teachers, office workers all joined the fight to save their home. An old woman threw boiling water on an Arkan soldier from her apartment window. A bus driver rammed his vehicle into an alien patrol. Children carried messages between resistance groups when digital communications were blocked. The Arkan had no answer for this kind of warfare. Their battle plans expected organized military responses, not millions of individuals each fighting in their own way. That evening, Jung gathered the original 5 members of the Ghost Network. Despite their exhaustion, hope shined in their eyes. Tomorrow the main fleet arrives, he said. It will be our hardest fight yet, but I want you to see what you started. He showed them a global map. Bright dots showed resistance groups on every continent, in every country. What had begun with 5 people in Korea had become a worldwide movement. The Arkan wanted Earth because they thought we were easy to control, Jun continued. They studied our technology, our governments, our militaries. But they missed what makes humans special. Our adaptability, said Dr. Ju. Our creativity, added Sung. Our diversity, Minna nodded. Our determination, Hannah finished. Outside, explosions lit the night sky as another Arkan ship fell to human defenses. The aliens had advanced weapons and greater numbers. But humans had something more powerful, the will to protect their home at any cost. As dawn approached, the resistance prepared for the arrival of the main Arkan fleet. The hardest battle was still to come, but now they fought with the knowledge that humans were stronger than anyone, even themselves, had realized. The Arkan had made one terrible mistake. They had made humanity furious. The main Arkan fleet arrived as the sun rose. 500 massive ships, each 10 times larger than the first wave. They filled the sky like dark clouds, blocking the sunlight. On the ground, humans looked up but did not run. They stood ready. 3 days of fighting had changed them. Fear had turned to determination. At Resistance headquarters, Sung and Minna worked frantically with their global tech team. They had found a way into the Arkan command system. Now they needed to use it before the invasion began. We're in, Minna said finally. Her fingers flew across the keyboard. Sending false commands now. Above Earth, confusion spread through the Arkan fleet. Ships received contradicting orders. Some were told to land, others to attack, others to retreat. In space, ships began to collide as their flight paths crossed. It's working, Sung shouted. They can't coordinate their attack. Across Earth, Hannah's bacterial formula had been spread widely. When Arkan forces tried to land, they found large areas they couldn't enter. The bacteria created invisible walls against them. General Kim coordinated the military response. Every captured Arkan weapon was now turned against its makers. Korean engineers had modified the technology, making it more powerful and unpredictable, something the Arkan couldn't plan for. The humans are everywhere. An Arkan commander reported to their leader. We destroy one group, and 10 more appear. They don't follow battle patterns. Each one fights differently. The Arkan Supreme Commander, newly arrived with the main fleet, couldn't understand the reports. How could a less advanced species offer such resistance? Their studies had shown humans as easily controlled, their leaders easily influenced. We must speak with their leader, the Supreme Commander ordered. Find who controls the humans. But there was no single human leader of the resistance. The Ghost Network had started it, but now millions fought in their own ways. There was no central point to attack, no single person to defeat. As the battle raged, June led a team to confront the Arkan leadership. Using a captured shuttle, they reached the main command ship. With them was Dr. G, Hana, and several soldiers. They carried weapons and courage. Fighting through the ship, they reached the command center. There stood the Supreme Commander, tall and imperious, surrounded by guards. You wish to surrender? The Supreme Commander asked, looking down at the humans with contempt. June stepped forward. He was no longer just a captain but a general of Earth's United Defense Forces. No, he said simply, we came to deliver a message. From all humans to the Arkan Empire. He held up a small device. On it played images from around the world. Humans fighting back, retaking their cities, protecting their homes. Ordinary people becoming heroes. This is who we are, Jun said. Not our leaders, not our governments, but all of us. 8 billion individuals who will never stop fighting for our home. The Supreme Commander watched in silence. You can kill some of us, Jun continued. Maybe many of us. But you will never conquer Earth. The cost would destroy your empire. Hannah spoke next. We've studied your biology now. We know your weaknesses. If this continues, neither side wins. For the first time, uncertainty showed on the Arkan leader's face. Dr. G added, we offer a choice. Leave Earth in peace, and we will not pursue you. Stay and face a war that will never end. The Supreme Commander was silent for a long moment. Then, your species was miscategorized in our studies. We did not understand. 3 days later, the Arkan fleet began to leave Earth's orbit. The Supreme Commander had made a calculating decision. Earth would cost too much to conquer. As the alien ships disappeared into space, celebrations broke out worldwide. Humans had won their planet back. In Seoul, the original Ghost Network members stood on a rooftop, watching the last ships leave. Do you think they'll come back? Sung asked. Maybe, Jun replied. But we'll be ready. And stronger. Earth had changed. Nations that once fought each other now worked together. Humans had united against a common threat and discovered their greatest strength, their diversity, creativity, and unbreakable spirit. With captured Arkan technology, humanity would now advance rapidly. Hannah led a new global science team. Sung and Minna developed new communication systems. Dr. Jai studied the effects of the invasion on human psychology. And Jun helped build Earth's first unified defense force. As the final Arkan ship vanished from view, Hannah looked at her friends. They never understood what they were facing. They saw our divisions and thought we were weak. They didn't realize that humans are at their strongest when protecting what they love, Jun said. The Arkan would return to their empire with a warning about the small blue planet in a distant galaxy. A planet home to a species too adaptable, too resourceful, and when threatened, too furious to ever be conquered. Humanity had taken its first steps into a larger universe, and the universe had just learned an important lesson. Never underestimate humans.